haircut. I gave it to myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
We'll trim up.
Thanks. All right.
I'm ready.
Hi, I'm Austin Eartham.
And I'm Taylor Madden. Welcome to the Kitchen Table Podcast.
We're here to motivate, educate, and relate to you guys, sharing our stories, helping you get 1% better in all areas of you. Hey, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. It's a new day, new week. A lot of forgiveness to be had. I always ask for forgiveness because I always mess up. We're going to get into a little bit of our stories. If we are good at forgiveness, bad at forgiveness, we're holding a grudge, not holding a grudge, and why I think forgiveness is one of the toughest things to do in life, but something that Jesus Christ really wants us to do every day. Yes.
I find it so easy to me.
Really?
Yeah.
I wrote down it might be the hardest thing. I'm on like a roll of like hard things, right? I think love was the most important thing. Then I talked about types of love and how there's some hard things. I just think this is a hard season in terms of emotion to really talk about.
Yeah.
Not hard to talk about, but hard to feel, if that makes sense. To know you're feeling that. I mean, you talked with loyalty. You said it's like underestimated a lot. People don't think about it.
Yeah.
I think that's true with a lot of things. When music gets stuck in our own forgiveness. Yeah, malfunction. iPhone storage full.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
Well,
Anyways,
we can do a talk.
well, I'll keep going here.
Maybe it's just because I don't let things get to me that often, so like I don't feel like I need to forgive you. Like a lot of people get upset. I don't take it something relatable, like getting cut off in traffic.
Yeah, people take it personal for that. Yeah, if you don't forgive that, that's kind of like whatever. But like the other day.
No, I'm continuing.
Like the other day when we were playing Call of Duty, I felt bad that we like got timed out and the guys the two people we were playing with wanted to play again. Like I feel bad about that. It's like I need to forgive myself for that because it's something I can't control, you know?
Yeah.
Or like how somebody sees you. Sometimes I want to make them feel okay about whatever the situation is, and I don't feel like I do that. So then it's like, crap, I missed my chance to connect with them or whatever it might be. Or if somebody does something to me, it's like whatever. So I got kicked off the golf course the other day. I was going to the range, and free. So this guy, I went to go. I did grab my lob wedge, or not lob wedge, my 60 degree, and my lob wedge, so 60 degree. I believe gap wedge is what I was thinking of. So lob wedge in my putter. And a couple balls, and I was going to putt on the green because I didn't want to actually drive because I just got my hip shot, so I literally couldn't
do it
drive. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do anything. So then I was like, well, I'll just go putt because I didn't want to like putt in our house because sometimes I do that, but it's just not as good. So I can only work on speed then, and not actually like terrain. Yeah. So I went there, and the guy's like, hey, have you bought a bucket of balls yet? And I was like, no, do I have to? And he's like, yeah, we'd appreciate that. I was like, whatever. So I just went home.
He probably said buy a bucket of balls.
No, he's basically saying buy a bucket of balls or don't golf.
Kind of the same thing with me and.
Yeah, and then Planet Fitness. So I was just like,
we're getting kicked out everywhere.
In some aspects, it's like, okay, you go to the business, I understand. And in other ways, it's like you're to putt. It's not like I'm gonna ruin the green. Yeah. Like you're not losing money by me using this. You know what I mean? Some people might say you get more customers by having it. And I thought usually it's free, like if you do that. You just putt. So I was like, whatever, not going back there. They don't want I don't need their business. They don't need my business. So I was just like, whatever. And I need to like let that go. Like I get that feeling of like I did something wrong, but I really didn't. And you got to test those waters, you know? Be like, I should have said, why can't I just putt? Is what I should have done. I should have tested the waters because everybody's like, oh, society tells you not to do that. Why not? Everybody's first answer is always no. And Nate and I were talking about this the other day. Everybody's first answer is always no because they don't want to go through the work or think critically about it. I mean, in all reality, if I would have said, hey, why can't I? And maybe talk to him a little bit. One, maybe I'd feel better. Maybe I'd be mad. I don't know. Probably that one, but. Either way, it is what it is. I just need to let it go because it happened and move on to the next thing. If you are loyal and why? I'll go first since you're working on this film here. I decided I'm loyal if I care about it. If I don't care, then I'm not loyal at all. If I do care, I'm very loyal because I'll do whatever it takes to get to the goal that I'm trying to reach in that category.
Yeah.
I
just don't know why it's not going.
You're good. We'll just keep moving. It's no big deal. Quote of the week this week is by unknown, actually. It says, "To forgive is not to excuse what the other person did. It's to prevent their behavior from destroying your heart." And I think sometimes we need to forgive, not for to let the other person know that you forgive them and to feel like you lost, but it's to feel like you won just because you're going to tear yourself down in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more the satisfaction of you not letting it get to you, because that's what we perceive as stress, right? We have to forgive somebody for something they did because we perceive it as physical is a little different than mental, obviously. But mentally, if they hurt us, we allowed them to hurt us mentally. So you just got to get over it. You can't control what other people say and what other people do. But in the long run, your mental health is better if you can let things go. Bible verse of the week. There's a bunch of good ones here on forgiveness.
Oh boy, I'm right.
We're going to read the one from Luke here. Luke 6:37. "Do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven." It's like the golden rule: treat everybody as you want to be treated. I think this is a really tough verse, though, because I think everybody judges every single day.
Yeah.
Like we go to the store. Oh, why? What do they look like? Oh, what are they doing? Why are they buying this? Why is this person driving so slow?
Yeah.
Right? Why is it so hot out? Why is this person walking here? Oh, are they taking the bus because they can't afford a vehicle? Are these people not working today? Why are there so many people out? These are all the thoughts I have going through my head every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Why does somebody act this way? You know what I mean? Why is the cashier mad? Do they hate their job? Why is this cashier super happy? Whatever it might be. But I think in the end, you're a lot more likely to forgive somebody else if they forgive you as well. And we're just human and we make mistakes, and God wants us to be closer to Him. But we're always going to sin, like we've talked about. And we'll have a whole episode on sin at some point. But the more you can let things go and be the bigger person, the better off your life's going to be, and the happier you're going to be, the more times you're going to smile. So I think that's important. What else makes me smile is Vitargo. Very loyal to that, like we talked about last week. I will. You good?
I hope so. I hope it's figured out now.
All right. I will have Vitargo every day for the next week, and I will not forgive myself for drinking it. That doesn't really work. Anyways, great stuff. We'll take an ad break, and we'll get right back to you guys.
All right. I'm back. Sorry.
All right.
It should be good now.
That's right, just the intro. All right. So
the rest fire for me.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Yeah, a technical man out here.
Yeah. Let's talk about forgiveness, eh?
Yeah.
So
you know over definition, no.
Yeah, the action, a process of forgiven or being forgiven. Wow, great definition. It is whatever. So psychologists define it as a conscious, deliberate decision to release the feelings of resentment, or vengeance toward a person or group that's harmed you, whether or not they actually deserve it. I think this is where we talked about agape love. Mm-hmm. That's unconditional love. Right there it is. That's forgiveness. No matter what you do, you'll be forgiven. Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting. All right. So,
what?
Go ahead.
I was like,
chat.
I'm gonna go back into it because that got messed up when I was talking about it. But again, like,
but why it's easy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to keep going on that too.
I just don't. And I just don't. I just don't let things get to me. I feel like I get frustrated over things. I don't get like mad or like I feel like
You had to go pretty quick.
yeah, like a kid and that I talk about all the time. But I restrain kids for a living essentially, and in our restraint sometimes like people get hurt and like kids do dumb things. This kid, I don't think he has. I know this kid has no remorse on what he had done or what he does. But anyway, in the restraint he bit me like pretty severely, and then I got up. I was frustrated that I wasn't even mad at him. I was more frustrated I let myself get bit and put myself in the position to get bit right in the back. But then I just moved on. Like it did. Like, I don't. I still have no resentment towards him. Like I still will talk to him like a normal kid. Like I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like
you're not singling him out.
Yeah.
And what he did. Do a little bit, a couple of days, so I felt like I was even with him.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that.
And
I'd bite him back.
I'm never A, losing my job, or B, going to jail for any of these kids. You know, really anyone.
Yeah. You know,
there's very few people I would take a fall for to go to jail.
But that's another story for another day. I want to get into that someday.
Yeah.
We should have done that at loyalty. Dang it. When you said that you more so were mad at yourself, do you think maybe the last time you didn't want to forgive is because it's to yourself, not necessarily others?
Yeah.
Because you have full control over yourself.
Yeah. I was mad about and then I just moved on to this. Then I just knew it was just a learning point. And I was mad at myself for a little bit. I mean, it still like hurts, and it's been 4 or 5 days now. But it's more like to the point where like I just thought about it, watched the camera, and
would you classify as moving on as forgiving, even if you don't consciously think like you had to forgive anything? Does that make sense? Like unconsciously?
It could be. Again, like that's why I'm so good at it. I just move on. I still know nothing's good to me, so I just move on.
Yeah, I think
like I'm so bad at holding grudges. I'm so bad at it.
You mean you're good at it technically? Like you don't hold them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the hold one couldn't be me.
Yes, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to be way bad at holding grudges. Like I wanted to like win all these trophies, and I wrote down all the people I wanted to say, and I said this before in the award ceremony, be like, thanks for doubting me, you idiot, and this and that, and now look at me type deal.
Yeah.
But then I really don't need to give them that time of day. But I remember that stuff now. Like there's a couple ones in soccer, this camp that he didn't rate me as one of the top, and then another place in baseball I didn't get picked because basically I didn't get picked because the team you could be 14 years old, and then we had a couple people who were, so they got picked instead of us, like 13-year-olds, just because they thought older was bigger, stronger, faster, you know.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, watch me do this, and you wish you would have picked me type deal. But I don't really regret those times. So I feel like regret is when you won't forgive. And I don't really regret those sports things or whatever, I guess, and not getting chosen. It just didn't work out, you know, so just it is what it is. I think a lot of times when I do forgive, it's because I rely on my faith and that this is the path I'm supposed to go down. But I'm not good at it because a lot of the time it's like my path is what I want to do. And if something doesn't reach my expectation, this is the reason I don't want to go back to places. I want to hit everything once so I can go to other places. And it doesn't meet my expectation to it. But all I'm doing is hurting myself if I don't forgive. Like, hey, I didn't get to go to this national park, so you know what? Had some fun doing other stuff. Move on. Yeah. It's all about perspective. Like when we went to Key West, my family and I last year, we played volleyball in the pool like literally half the trip. I can go to a pool in Iowa and play volleyball, you know? Like we just went 1,000 miles to do that.
You're mad the whole time? You're not mad, but like frustrated?
No, I was frustrated at the start, and then it's like whatever. It was kind of cool to be through a hurricane. And,
yeah, because I was like, wasn't a hurricane when you went?
Yeah, that's why we didn't get a good.
Heck yeah.
So it's still an experience. It's all about, I could look at it as, hey, you know what I got to do? Play volleyball in a pool and have fun, do this and that, and see a hurricane. Or I can think of it as, you know what? I played volleyball in a pool. I could have done that in Iowa.
Did it? South Carolina? Or did it go south?
The hurricane?
Yeah.
It went like directly through, like that way, Florida. So like went up and then went back out to like the ocean.
So it didn't hit.
No, it hit like basically most of Florida actually.
I think that was the one where my dad was had to like pack up and all that stuff.
It went up through like might have hit the edge of Georgia and it kind of went back out to sea. It was like a kind of a loop thing. I don't remember the name of it. I think it was an H. Helen or something sounds right. I don't know if that's true though.
My dad would know. There's been a few times where they've had to they got told to pack up.
Yeah.
Get ready to go.
So I was just pissed, but it is what it is.
My dad's such a prepper. You just like, nope.
He's ready to go.
It's like, I got my generator. I was like, I got food for 3 to 6 months. Like, I'm fine.
There you go. That's what you gotta do. You gotta be prepared for anything. Preparation is important.
This is way random, but they found a gator in their backyard the other day. And they live nowhere near one.
We talked about this.
I know. I just want the podcast. I wanted my other friends out there to listen.
Yeah.
It's wild.
You got a gator. You don't see that in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Gator soup for dinner. But anyways, that's why I think I suck at forgiveness, and I think it's hard because I have so many expectations, and when things don't get reached, it makes me angry. Especially like with myself and my own goals, I don't forgive myself for what I did, or like any regrets I have in life. I don't forgive myself for what I chose to do. And yeah, I moved on. So like in mine, that's why I asked you about it, because in my instance, I've moved on, but I haven't forgave myself because I still think about the past.
Yeah.
I think if you think about the past often and wish you could change it, then you're living with guilt or a grudge.
Yeah, or regret.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying forgiveness is super hard for most people.
Yeah.
Because something's gonna happen in life where you're just not get easier.
Life's too short to hold on to all that stuff.
It is. You're right.
It carries too much weight.
It does, and I just don't know how to get it off. Does that make sense?
Really?
Like, I'm just not good at it. Like, oh, this went this way. I shouldn't have done this. Like, I moved on, but I haven't totally forgave. If that makes sense, it's still like a little piece, like holding on by a thread.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm a stressful person.
Could be me. Just have the mind of goldfish.
What's just that?
Every 3 seconds, you just forget what happened.
Sometimes that'd be cool. Sometimes that would suck. I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, or the girl off 51st dates where she just like lives the same day over and over.
And she doesn't know.
Yeah. I think that'd be wild.
What's wild is the person who has to care for her who paints that wall every single day.
Right.
What happens if you didn't paint it? If you didn't paint over it?
She should have an episode. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think she does. I think it's happened. It's in the movie. So interesting.
I'm about it.
Has there been a time recently that you were like, besides like work, that you had to forgive?
That's the thing. I was really thinking about this. I really couldn't think. But probably the closest thing was the story I just gave.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, I guess technically I did forgive him because it happened to me. But it's just one of the point like I didn't hold it. Like it bears no weight to me.
That's what I'm saying. I was reflecting as you were talking there.
Yeah.
I think that's why, like the golf story I gave at the start, technically I perceived that as somebody attacking me. Does that make sense?
That's the same way I felt when at Planet Fitness. I was like, I'm being attacked, but really that's probably just their job.
But you're perceiving that as an issue. So you're like, oh, I have to forgive it. You know what I mean? I have to forgive them. Or if this happened, you know what? Move on. So I'm saying if we don't perceive it, so I was thinking, what else do I have to forgive this week? I mean, really, I was like, that's not really a big deal in the end. This really isn't a big deal in the end. I was like, yeah, there's been fights, disagreements, changes.
I was like, I can't ask and that. But so it's on me. I just moved gyms to where now I can go on a regular basis.
Yeah.
The amount of trainers in Lifetime is insane. There's probably like 3 to 1. Like 3 people, like 3 like members to 1 trainer. It's an insane amount. Trainers everywhere.
Think I can do it?
Oh yeah. It's like I think it's an 8-week course to become a trainer. There's some trainers in there that I was like, huh, are you really
Trainer?
Yeah, are you really a trainer? Or are they just like
I could probably do it
toss a
without.
jersey at you and call it that?
Yeah, I could do it without the course.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it'd be a lot, but like I really want to take my CrossFit level 1 just to know more what I'm doing, like programs. I think that's I love that kind of stuff. I love programming. When I was in high school, I did a internship with a physical therapist, and they had like a gym at the office, and they had a workout of the day, and I got to make them. So it was like you do 10. It was like pretty easy stuff. It was mainly middle-aged women who did it. So you can't make 10 burpees, 20 air squats, and then you go back down or a ladder or whatever. I love making those, and I would love to like do some CrossFit ones and learn which ones go together and why. I think that's super cool stuff that I'd like to learn about. So I wrote down to do my level 1, but it's $1,050 to do. Nothing. That's $1,000.
Add that in your school. Add that in your tuition cost.
Yeah, well, it's already pretty high, so. But I would think of it that way. Yeah, it makes it look better. Go ahead.
But to me, like things or people I forget. They're really the only thing. The last thing I can really think of, the thing that sticks out the most was when we were really small, little my brother and sister are 13 months younger than me, so we were all babies.
Mm-hmm.
And right after the twins were born, and that my mom, and so then growing up and like my dad talking about it
made you mad.
Yeah.
How do you?
And I've never actually talked about it with my mom. I don't think she would even talk about it.
What's the day that you're like? Is there a day that you're like, I moved on from this?
I moved on. I couldn't. It's been a while.
Like it doesn't affect you anymore?
Yeah. My dad told me 6, 7, 8 years ago. I was like,
so this time
it might have been. I think it might have been right before they divorced.
Yeah, I know we talked about last week all that stuff. I'm just very curious of why stuff like that happens, and I just want to know. I like knowing the why to things and learning about it.
And so
then I'm usually mad when I learn. So just you can't make me happy.
So I mean, and because then I was like, well, what makes it like my mom's saying, it's like walk out now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think because then it came right. It was before they got divorced. I knew this, but then after then they got divorced, and my mom just walked out my dad again. So, but out of all 4 of us, I probably have the best relationship with my mom. So that's saying something.
Yeah, I don't really have mine's more like athletic stuff. Again, stuff that I perceive as harmful or a choice I made that I didn't agree with or whatever. But
I have a few of those, like where I had to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, that's I probably have to ask for forgiveness.
Once a day.
Well, more than I need forgiveness from others.
I don't know what to do on that. I wish I had to wait till this episode to figure it out.
It is what it is.
Make me mad. Now I'm gonna throw that one.
Hopefully that's not the personal one.
It is. I gotta switch over that one.
I think I have to ask for forgiveness more, probably because I'm the troublesome. Again, because I want so much in life. There's only one life. We did. Might be a bug in there or something. But that's another thing to reflect on is a couple things. Number one, do you have to ask for forgiveness more than you have to give forgiveness? I think it's good to work on both.
I was also thinking about that. How many times do you think that you wronged people but just don't realize it? Or people like hold grudges or have like an agenda against you? I was thinking about that.
Based on what they perceive against.
Yeah.
You might perceive it different.
I was thinking about in working with children. I'm pretty sure probably half the campus is mad at me or on some basis.
Or like stories get twisted. A kid tells this kid, and they're like, "Oh, I hate him too now."
Yeah. Or about me. People can hate me all day long.
Yeah.
They're still gonna be respectful and behave.
Yeah.
And but I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder how many people like I've wronged in my life that I haven't made right. And they kind of do what I do, just move on.
See, my hope is that people would have a conversation with me now.
Yeah, maybe
Like,
also,
be a man about it, you know.
yeah. Also, I was also thinking about this, but maybe my love is too high.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I don't think you can have
like,
too high of love. You can be naive, but I don't know if you can have too high of love.
Yeah, but like my love for people as an overall, then that is just higher. So my forgiveness just like
is higher.
Yeah.
And I also think when you were telling your story about your mom, I think that time just naturally heals things, and also you gotta like that's what gets me through things now is I just trust that it'll work out.
Yeah.
Like in the end, no matter what happens, okay, I can go down this path.
Yeah.
It's like something good will happen. Something good will come out of every bad situation that you perceive as bad anyways.
I'd say on two things I also think about. One, when this is when I was making poor decisions. When I started running with a different group, and when one of my friend Joey, he's always like looked out for the best for me, and that like he's never like done me wrong and all that. But he runs with a different crowd and that than I started to, so I avoided him and did stupid like that's when I started doing dumb things and that. And anyway, one night we drove past his house and he was out on the porch. We just drove by it, waved, honked, and that. And then we just kind of moved on with our night. And then it was like 1, 2 a.m. in the morning, and we're just kind of like cruising around. We're like, let's go say hi to Joey again. And because the kids I hung with, like they talked to Joey, they knew him, and they were like, they were cool with him. Anyway, so we knocked on the door, and no answer. So then we're over there knocking on his bedroom screen, no answer. And then one of the kids starts taking off the screen to slide open. Anyway, by then I was like, this ain't worth it. Like, let's just go. So we started walking out of the car, and like the cops are coming up the street at that point. And we're like, oh shit. So and Joey's dad is a cop. And so, but they were out of town. Him and his wife, Joey's parents, were out of town. And so it was just Joey and his sister at home. And anyway, so we took off through the woods, and they were pretty much like, stop or they said tase us. And then, but I think it got worse. But yeah, so we stopped, went back. They called his dad. They said, don't detain us. And we got the stern talking to him. And then I had to go back the next day and talk to him.
What did he say?
They were just like, make better decisions. You're hanging out front crowd.
Interesting.
But yeah, it was probably the most like
hard to somebody who I guess you care about and they care about you, like your relationship is deep, you know. That's always the hardest to ask for forgiveness. Which makes sense with like a spouse or a family member. There's all sorts of stories. Like you always see the TV shows, somebody cheats and then they ask for forgiveness, doesn't work, whatever, blah blah blah. That definitely shows I can feel the guilt and the pain of going up to Joey the next day and being like, yo, listen.
Definitely probably like look back, one of the hardest things like I had to do.
Because you got to be a man about it.
And then I think I had to like forgive myself when Tristan and Justin died. And I went through a lot of guilt in that, knowing that like really being the last people to see him alive. And really just taking an opportunity to go to a different conference instead of like just being in the car with them. So it was more like, why was it their time to go?
I remember my mom telling me to check on you all the time to make sure that one of the things that I had to forgive somebody else that I like deemed like sometimes I think people ask for forgiveness when you don't even need it. So we were in 6th grade. It was my friend Riley and I, and we were doing spitballs or something at each other, friends in class, and we were in 6th grade watching a movie, and he threw a piece of gum and stuck it in my hair. and it was like this big sticky bubblegum wad that was stuck in my hair. And then teacher got mad at us, brought us into the hallway, and she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Well, Riley threw this piece of gum in my hair, and I can't get it out. So we had to cut it out of my hair." So he starts crying. He's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it," and all this. And I was like, "Yo, like I ain't even mad. Like I'm just mad we got caught by a teacher. Like it wasn't even a big deal." I mean, you couldn't tell my hair that much that they cut it out. It was on like top of my head. I just remember how funny I thought it was and how he was like crying. We were standing right by the drinking fountain. I remember it. So sometimes you don't even like, you're asking for forgiveness and you're worried about it, but they're not, you know what I mean? And on the flip side, if I would have been like, that's old for me again, is why I hold on to grudges or don't forgive as well. Or maybe don't ask for forgiveness as well. One, I think anytime you have a sin or hurt somebody, you should ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
But like, you're not a stubborn person at all.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
And I am. So I think that stubbornness might play a role in forgiveness is my point. Something to think about. It's interesting. All right. Anything else with stubbornness for now?
No.
All right.
The only thing I'd say I would add is like, when you are needing forgiveness, like look on the impact on your life. Like, are you wanting forgiveness for someone just cutting you off? Or are you asking for forgiveness for someone cheating on you? Like, what's the severity of it? Like, how much are you letting it affect your life? Is what I would say. And then, because I think for the majority of people, I think forgiveness is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. And that I think a lot of people hold on to it, and then it kind of festers in the rest of their life.
Yeah. So sometimes you got to keep it in perspective. Like if it's just somebody cut you off and you were 5 minutes late to work, like, that's not the reason to get fired. There's something else. If you got fired, there's something else behind that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Challenge this week. It's a difficult one, not gonna lie. If you have a grudge or holding on to some sort of issue between you and somebody else or something, how can you forgive them? How can you let it go? Have a chat with them. Think of some ways, brainstorm some ways that you can be free. And if you need to ask for forgiveness from somebody, how can you go about asking that from them or giving that to them? Other than that, appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you catch the 1440 on Thursday, and we'll talk to you later.
Love you.
Bye.